Hello and welcome to another tutorial. This will be the final tutorial that goes with your Skills Award assignment. Now in this tutorial I'm merely going to be showing you Premiere Pro, but I might be dipping into other programs. What you need to be doing with this project is using the skills that you gained from the other assignments in this one even. So for example, if you're using Adobe Audition, if you're using Premiere Pro, After Effects, any other programs we use as well, it's up to you how you go about doing this. But this tutorial specifically is about Premiere Pro, okay? So I've made a quick little advert to show you essentially how you can put together your advert, okay? So I have Premiere Pro open up. I'm not going to touch it yet, I don't need to. I just want to explain how you take the files off of the camera, the Nikon D5200, and the audio recorder, the Zoom H4n that you have booked out. Okay, so at this stage I would assume that you would have all of your parts that will make up the advert. Okay, now the parts that I have at this point in time are the SD card from the Zoom audio recorder and the SD card from the Nikon D5200. This Nikon D5200 icon looks different because the SD card is being read through an SD reader, okay? Otherwise, if it's straight into the computer, it should look like that, okay? So anyway, audio is on the H4n SD and the video is on the Nikon D5200. And then I have some other assets as well that I've created or found. So this is a cheesy 80s track that I've downloaded as an MP3 from a YouTube video. Excellent. Cheese Festorama. Love it. Okay. And then I've got two compositions that I've made. Okay. Now, compositions, as you are aware, are created in After Effects. And this is a combination of shape layers and text layers as well. So if I was to play this very quickly, you'll be able to tell it's just that. It's just some sort of cheesy thing to go with my cheesy advert. And I've got some price tags there as well. Okay. Now the only thing that you need to take into account is it's black. Okay, I'm not adding my video directly here, so that black area is actually transparent. So one thing maybe to bear in mind, a little tip for you, is when you're going into your composition render queue, what you need to do is you need to change the output module from RGB to RGB plus alpha, the alpha channel being the transparent area. So once you've done that, you should be able to, in Premiere Pro, see the difference. Okay, so if you are having issues and you want to put combinations of compositions and video together, you don't have to do it all in After Effects. You can just do the composition in After Effects and you can bring it into Premiere Pro. But anyway, I will show you how to do that. Now, before you do anything, you're going to want to organize your files. I would suggest making a new folder. So this is my advert, it's advertising a pen, and I'm going to grab everything and just pop it in. Okay, I don't need it on my desktop, I need it in that folder. So in here, I'll be able to collect my audio. Okay, so I recorded simply through the microphones, so they will be in stereo. Hopefully they should be in folder 1. Let's have a listen. We've all been in this situation. That's me. Okay, so I can drag that and pop that there. Okay, eject that because I don't need it anymore. Now that I've ejected that, I'm going to put that into the Zoom audio recorder just so it doesn't go missing. Okay, so give that a moment to eject. In the meantime, let's get our other files. So I recorded using Nikon D5200, and so if I go into here, I'll be able to easily find my files. So there are a lot of files here, and you can tell which one are yours because eventually the video comes up in a little preview. So I'm going to grab all of these that I want. Now, they're more than one take, but I don't necessarily mind that. I'm just going to grab them all and just pop them into the advert area. Okay? So give it a moment to do that. And in the meantime, we can have a look and see what this is looking like. So, Normally, what I would do, and I'll do this in this situation, is go video and another folder that is audio, and I can take any audio that I have, pop it in there, and any video that I have, I'm going to pop it in there. And then that way you can easily organize it. Okay, so I can close down After Effects now because we don't necessarily need that. Okay, so that After Effects project is sitting there, so I can always access that again if I need to, but I've already downloaded the stuff that I want. I can eject that, same thing applies. If I don't need it anymore, I can put it back into the camera and move on. Okay, so we've got our advert and we've got it all organized. Let's go into Premiere Pro. Okay, so it should look like this. First of all, if you're using Premiere Pro CC 2017, just press skip, and then it will bring you into the correct area. Give it a second. It is very slow today for some reason. Okay, so just start a new project when you're ready, and then here we're going to change the location. So I don't want to go to users, Carl.Muircroft, documents, Adobe Premiere Pro 11.0. So I'm just going to click browse, and I'm going to make it come up here. Okay, so I can quickly go to desktop, advert, and choose there. And then what will happen is, once I press OK, don't worry about anything else. Change the name. Once I press OK, I've got my project that comes up there. Okay. So now I'm all organized and I'm ready to go. Okay. Now, more than one ways to drag your files into Premiere Pro. What I like to do is I like to see them there. There's also the media browser that I can go to. If I was to go into here, I'll be able to go through all of these libraries and stuff, and potentially I would find the folder in the desktops. But I am not going to bother doing that. I never do that. I'm just going to grab these two files as separate files. Audio gets put in, and it makes a bin or a folder. And the video gets put in, it makes a bin or a folder. A bin is essentially the editing term for a folder. Okay. So then, once I've done that, I have an empty timeline, no sequence in my timeline, and I need to drop media here to create a sequence. Okay. So I'm just gonna double click on one of my videos, and I'm going to grab one that I know I'm going to be using. So this one. I'm not going to be using it all. I'm just going to, just for now, just drag and drop this video into here. Okay? So then, what you've got is you've got an area to look at your files. You've got an area that shows you what files are being used in the timeline. And you've got a video display that shows what you can see on the timeline. Okay? And then, you've got an area here that is a source monitor. So, for example, this video is too long. So what I can do is I can go into the video bin, and I can double click this, or drag and drop, and it should come up in my source monitor. So I can play that clip back entirely and go through the little timeline that's there, and it'll be separate to the actual timeline and everything. So I can quickly go through this. I can take the bit that I want. That'll do. In and out. Mark in. Mark out. Okay? Then I've got options here. I can drag the whole lot, video and audio, or I can drag video only or audio only. I'm going to drag the video only. Grab the video only, pop it in there. It works now. Very good. Okay. So I've got my first bit of video in the timeline. I can press the space bar to pause and continue. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to speed this process up I'm going to show you essentially how to put the files in there. Okay, so I'm going to get the whole sequence in, and then we're going to add other elements as well. Okay, so I then will add my audio. So I'm going to start with the cheesy 80s music. I'm going to grab that, just pop that in the video, the audio track that sits underneath the video. Okay, it's very long. I don't need all of that. I'm going to grab it down. I'm going to put it down to about there and see what happens. Okay. Now there's going to be little tweaks and things like that I can do to this, but in the meantime, I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to get the audio and video in and see what happens. Okay. Okay, so that is too quiet at this stage. So one's too quiet and one's too loud. So we're just going to go into the individual areas and see if we can change that up. So I've got a line here that allows me to change the volume level. Okay, so I can increase the volume level of the narration and decrease the volume level of the audio. And I also probably want to do some fade outs and fade in as well. So I've got a pen tool here. I can click the pen tool, and then as I hover over the line, I can add anchor points. So with my mouse selection tool, I can then change that. I can create a peak there. So that should fade in. So I can tell that my audio is still too low, so I can put that up as well. Now feel free to go into Adobe Audition and improve the quality of your audio. For this I'm not going to bother because I have no time. So it's a matter of me cutting up the bits that I don't want as well to be next to each other. So I'm going to use the razor tool to chop up my audio. Okay, so that's a part that I want. Let's have a listen.
To do so. Frustrating.
So I'll have a gap between there. So I can change the position of all of these so that they fit in properly. Okay then, so what I've got is I've got my audio and my video pretty much in the area that I want it to be in. I've got the whole sequence, audio, video, right levels and everything like that, okay? So then I've got other elements to add as well. One final thing is the composition. So I'm just going to grab this and just pop this in and we'll see what that does. Okay, so I've got my composition, the alphas have been included, but what I found is the pen is in the wrong place. It doesn't really go well with my video, but there's no problems there. It gives me an opportunity to show you the effects controls. So in the effects controls, you can find a lot of the same things and applications as you can in After Effects as well. So you've got the position, scale, rotation and stuff like that. So for this one, I'm just going to change the scale. And the position as well. So I'm going to pop the pen writing just at the bottom there. We'll see what that looks like.
Rating. Introducing the pen. With the pen.
Okay, so I've got my first one in there. I'm just going to get my other one in there as well. This is composition 2. Pop that in, see what that looks like.
With the pen, you can write full sentences.
Okay. So this one as well, I'm going to change the position. Probably can't see that, but it's up there now. There you go, that's going to work nicely. And maybe this one, just increase the scale a little bit. And change the position. And maybe change the position of both.
Introducing the pen. With the pen, you can write full sentences, allowing a permanent communication.
Okay, so I'm going to take this one down. Take them both down actually, so that they're not on the screen for longer. I just hover my mouse over, and then I've got these options to increase and decrease the space in which they fit on the timeline. If I go to the effects area here, I will be able to find video transitions as well as other video effects. So there's loads and loads of video effects that I can add to it. And those effects come up here. So I'll just very quickly show you one. So if I was to say add a distortion or something like that, let's say a color correction, change the color balance of a particular object. So I'll do it over this composition one, the one that's selected. You can see it comes up here, and you can play around with all of the levels and things like that that apply to it. So you can see that changing the original video. Just get rid of any that you don't want. Obviously, you don't have to be playing around with effects in this, but you should be able to play around with video transitions at least, like fades in and fades out. So I'm going to use a cross dissolve on both of those. I'm going to drag and drop them onto this area, so that what happens is they both fade out at the same time.
You can write full sentences, allowing a permanent communication to be relayed.
Okay, and then finally I'll have a little fade out at the end there. I could do it as a using the pen tool as I did before, but I'm just going to do it as an audio transition as well, because you've got those as well. So I'll just put constant power on the end there. Okay, so that is my video. Let's play it back in all its glory.
We've all been in this situation. You want to use written language to communicate to those around you, but you have no means to do so. Frustrating. Introducing the pen. With the pen, you can write full sentences, allowing a permanent communication to be relayed. And that's all you ever wanted. So pick one up today.
Okay, so that's essentially it. Once you've finished, also just very quickly, snapping is very useful, but just click it off, and then you'll be able to get rid of that nasty little click that you got at the end there.
So pick one up today.
That's better. Okay, so what you can do is you can then export it. Now, Premiere Pro CC will only export up to where you've got video or audio. So as soon as that finishes, it will finish itself. So we're just going to go File, Export, Media. Then you're going to choose the options and the place in which it goes. So at this point in time, the format has been, for some reason, set to AAC audio, but we're going to change that to H.264, because you can't go wrong with the good old H.264 format. Just give it a moment. There we go, you've got a video. You can tell what's going to be exported. So what we need to do is we need to change the output name. I'm going to call it Final Export, just so I know what the file is when I'm looking at it. And it's saving it directly to your folder anyway. So it shouldn't take me long to export this, and we go ahead and do it. There's not really anything else you need to do at this stage. There are all sorts of things that you can change here, but I wouldn't recommend changing those. Okay. So now that that's done, you should be able to find that in your Advert folder, and it should be playable. Okay, so there it is in all its glory. There's nothing wrong with that.
In this situation, you want to
Near perfect export. And that's essentially it. You need to upload that to YouTube, and that will sit on your website. So there you go. All right, thank you very much.